Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Katie, and working on the support desk, I heard a lot of questions. Now, I'm here to help you answer those questions before you run into them and make using Ariba as easy as possible. Today, I will be walking you through registering on the Ariba network. The first type of registration I'd like to talk about is called walk-up registration, and it's done directly through our supplier portal. When completing the walk-up registration process, you will want to start by navigating to the website supplier.ariba.com without including that www prefix. After registration, you will use this same web address to log into your account anytime you would like to access Ariba, so I would recommend favoriting it as well. Once you have navigated to this page, you will see a link underneath the login area that says Register Now. Clicking this link will take you to our main registration page. From this point forward, registration will look the same no matter how you get here. So let's talk briefly about the other ways that you can get to this page. The rest of the methods of registration will involve using an email that was sent to you from your customer. We'll take a look at a couple different examples of those emails. The first is to either invite you to a specific bidding event or to invite you to register with your customer on their Ariba spend management site. These two emails are going to look very similar. In my case, I have an email that is asking me to register on their spend management site. What that means is they are connecting with you to send you events in the future or possibly just gather information from you about your company. The event email will talk a little bit more about the event, and you should have some kind of DOC event number listed down in this section of the email in gray lettering. As I said before, this is not an invitation to participate in a specific bidding event, but an invitation to connect with that customer and their Ariba spend management site for the purposes of filling out information or for participation in later events. As you can see, I have a link that says click here. Clicking this link will take me directly back to that page we were looking at before with the registration information that needs to be completed. The second type of registration is what we call a quick enablement registration process or a pre-enablement account registration process. As you can see, this email looks very different from the previous email we were looking at and is used when a customer wants to send and receive purchase orders and invoices with you on the Ariba network. This email will have some information about a purchase order that they have already included in the pre-account they built for you and a way to activate that account. You'll have a web address down here that you can use when registering, as well as a temporary ID and secure code. You'll click this link and it will take you to a page that asks for you to input this information. And after you input that information, it will lead you right back here to this page. At this point, we will all be at the same registration page, no matter which path you chose to get here. From this page, you will complete almost the entire registration process. At first glance, you'll notice some fields are marked with an asterisk. This indicates that a field is required to be completed to move forward in registration. Any section not marked with an asterisk is completely optional and only needs to be filled out if you choose so. The first section that you will be required to fill out is the company information section. This section is asking for overarching information about your company, like your company's name and address. You will notice that right now the city, state, and zip are required fields because I have United States selected as my country. However, you can change the country, which changes what's required. For example, now only the address and city are required. Once the basic company information is completed, you will move on to the user account information. In this section, you will set up the user profile information, and you'll want to keep in mind that the profile that you're creating here is going to be the profile used as the administrator of the account. You will begin by entering your first and last name and your email address. This email address is also going to receive an activation email that will include a link which will be used to activate your account and complete the registration process. Something I'd like to point out here is that right under the email box is a checkbox that says use my email address as my username. When I click out of email, it automatically is going to add my email address to the username section. However, if you do not want to use your email address as the username, you can simply uncheck the box and then make any edits that you need to. You'll also be required to enter a password. The password needs to be a minimum of 8 characters and include at least one number. Another thing I'd like to call out is both the password and the username will be case sensitive, so you'll need to match the case that you're selecting here every time you log in. Another note to keep in mind about the username is that even though it doesn't have to be a real email, it needs to look like an email. So for example, my real SAP email is catherine.jensen@sap.com, but for my username, I've elected to use kjensen@sap.com. This isn't a real email, but I'm following the email address format. You'll be able to change your language. And the final section is an email orders to section. This is for light accounts. Whenever you register on the Ariba network, you will automatically be creating a light account, and customers can use light accounts to send orders if they choose. Your customer may not be using this feature with you, and that's completely fine. However, Ariba requires that you have an email entered for orders to go to, just in case any customers that you connect with on Ariba decide to use this feature down the road. This email does not need to be the same email address as is on the account. You can change it to a completely different email or even a distribution list email if you have one set up for orders. Once you have completed both the company information and the user account information sections, you have completed all mandatory fields required for registration. However, in the Tell Us More About Your Business section, there are a couple of optional fields. The tell us more about your business section is going to automatically be collapsed because the fields are all optional, but you can open it by clicking the arrow to the right of business. Product and service categories is looking for the service that your company provides or the good that your company makes. You will be able to browse the different options we have and choose the one that is closest to what your company provides. In addition, ship to or service locations is where you can ship your product or provide your service. Again, you can use the browse button to find the locations you would like to add. I do want to call special attention to the tax ID and DUNS number because they are unique in the sense that once a company has used a specific DUNS or tax ID, it cannot be reused. Because of this, when registering, you may get an error message saying that your DUNS number or tax ID is already in a different Ariba account that your company has. These sections are completely optional, so if that's the case, you can move forward in the registration process by simply removing any numbers listed in these sections. Once you have completed all mandatory fields, as well as any optional fields you would like to include, the last task is to read and agree to our terms of use. You can access our terms of use and privacy statement by clicking the hyperlinks for the terms of use. And you are registering as a supplier, so you'll want to click here to read the supplier terms of use. Once you have reviewed the terms of use, you can then check this box and click register to register your account. You will be taken to a page that tells you that you have action required to check your email inbox. This means that registration has gone through successfully and that you should receive an email in the next few minutes to use to activate your account. If you do not receive that email, you can always resend it by clicking the resend link or change the email address you have entered and click send to send it to that different email address. Once that email is received, all you'll need to do is click the link within the email that says to activate your account, click this link, and your Ariba registration is complete. Another call out I would like to make here is that regardless of the type of email invitation you receive, you will be given an option to use your existing account. If your company has an existing account that you would like to utilize, you can choose the option to log into your existing account, which will then ask for the username and password for that account's administrator. Although your Ariba registration is completed, your customer may have some additional steps that they require you complete. For invoicing, a trading relationship is required. The trading relationship is built into any accounts using a pre-enablement email, like I showed you earlier. But to initiate a trading relationship for any other type of account, your customer must send you a trading relationship request. Once your customer has sent you a trading relationship request, you will receive an email notifying you, and the request will be turned into a trading relationship automatically if it's the first trading relationship request your account has received. You can locate any trading relationships you have by logging into your account, clicking the company settings menu, and choosing the customer relationships option from the drop-down menu. From this page, you will be able to see any current relationships you have listed in the middle section and any relationships that are pending approval. You'll also be able to update your settings and choose either to automatically accept any and all trading relationship requests that come in, or manually review all relationship requests and reject or accept them. If this setting is chosen, your customers will appear in the pending section while they're waiting to be approved or rejected. In addition to receiving a trading relationship request from your customer may require you to complete some enablement tasks. Any additional tasks or steps required by your customer can be found under the Enablement Tasks tab on the home page. As you can see, any customers that have enablement tasks are listed here. You'll see any pending tasks you have and any pending tasks your buyer has. This particular account doesn't have any pending tasks, but if it did, you would be able to see them listed below. As pending or not yet started. And you would also have buttons over here that would allow you to complete the tasks. Enablement tasks usually need to be completed in the order they are listed. For an example, one of my tasks is to accept a trading relationship, but I'm not able to accept that trading relationship until my buyer has sent me a relationship request. You'll also be able to see if the task is for you to complete or your buyer all the way over here to the right. If you are participating in an event or were invited by your customer to register on their Ariba Commerce Cloud account, your customer may require specific profile information to be filled out. We at customer support call this section the supplier profile questionnaire or the customer requested profile. There's two ways to access this section, and I will show you both. The first you can access from any of these tabs that you see when you log in by clicking the Company Settings menu and choosing Company Profile. Something that I'd like to call out within this profile that will load in just a sec is that you're going to see a lot of other fields. You will also have a public profile completeness bar that may not be at 100%, and that's completely okay. This is your Ariba completeness level, and any fields are optional. You filled out all the required fields when you registered. Minimum percentage for completion is 35%. So as long as you have a registered account, you filled out everything required by Ariba. You can fill out more information if you choose, but the only required information is going to be housed under the Customer Requested tab, which is where you access that supplier profile questionnaire or the Customer Requested profile. Any customers that you have a supplier profile questionnaire for will be listed. You'll see also the status, be it complete or incomplete, and you can click the name of the profile to open up the information they're asking. For this particular profile, both of the fields that they've given are drop-down menus, but you might also have text boxes. And in addition, some questions, when answered, will lead to more information. For example, since I selected that I am compliant with QS certification, they're requesting that I attach a file as well as the expiration date and effective date of that certification. When you have completed your profile, you can click the Submit button to submit it to your customer, or you can click the Save as Draft button if you need to come back to it later. The way we got to this profile was through the Ariba network, which is used for invoicing and purchase orders. However, your customer may be using your account with you as a bidding account with the intention of inviting you to events later. There is another way to access the profile, and it's from the bidding portal for our site instead of the orders and invoicing one. If you log in to a page that says Ariba Network, you can switch to the bidding and proposals page by clicking the white 3x3 grid to the left of the company settings menu and choosing proposals. This will load your proposals homepage. You'll be able to see any customers that you have in your proposals section, any events that you may or may not have been invited to. And over here on the left-hand side, it will state if your customer has any profile information they would like you to complete. You can get back to that same profile section that we were just looking at by simply clicking Enter Now, which will also automatically pull up the specific profile you need to complete. At this point, we have looked at all the different ways that you can register on Ariba, as well as walked through the registration process and looked at any additional steps your customer may require to begin transacting with you on Ariba. At this point, I would like to shift to the Q&A portion of this webinar, where we will be addressing the questions that were asked during this presentation. If you have any further questions, you can ask them now via the chat box on the left-hand side of the screen.